the looming climate crisis, a 50-year forecast. We stand at a crossroads. The decisions we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. In 50 years, our planet will be drastically different. Climate change is not a distant threat, it's happening now. Its effects are already visible and they're accelerating. Imagine a world in 2074. Coastal cities are drowning, deserts are expanding, storms are more frequent and intense. This isn't science fiction, it's the future we're creating. Unless we act now, the next half-century will be crucial. It will determine the fate of our species and countless others. We have solutions, we have the technology. The future is in our hands. Let's make it count. A half-century of climate change. Looking back, reflecting on the past 50 years, we see a world transformed by the relentless march of climate change. The past 50 years have been transformative. Landscapes have shifted, ecosystems have altered, and the very fabric of our environment has been reshaped. Not in a good way. Pollution has choked our skies and waters, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Since the 1970s, we've seen unprecedented changes. Deforestation has stripped our forests, and glaciers have retreated at alarming rates. Global temperatures have risen steadily. Each year, the mercury climbs higher, setting new records. Extreme weather events have become more common and more severe. Hurricanes, floods, and droughts now dominate our news cycles. We've witnessed the rapid melting of polar ice caps. The Arctic and Antarctic are losing ice at unprecedented rates. The acidification of our oceans, marine life struggles to survive in increasingly hostile waters. The destruction of vital ecosystems, species are disappearing and habitats are being destroyed. In the 1980s, we first heard about the ozone layer depletion. It was a stark reminder of our impact on the planet. It was a wake-up call, a moment that should have spurred us into action, but we hit the snooze button. Our response was slow and the consequences have been dire. The 1990s saw the first major climate conferences. Leaders gathered, promises were made, yet emissions continued to rise. Awareness did not translate into action. The 2000s brought us Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth. It raised awareness, but not enough action. The message was clear, but the response was muted. The 2010s were the hottest decade on record. Heat waves and wildfires became the new normal until the 2020s surpassed it. Each year, temperatures break new records and climate events grow more extreme. Natural disasters have become more frequent, more intense. The planet is sending us a clear message, but is it enough? The next 50 years will tell. Our actions today will shape the future of our planet. The question remains, will we rise to the challenge? The new normal: temperature rises and extreme weather. Welcome to the new normal, where climate change is no longer a distant threat, but a present reality. In 2074, the world is hotter, much hotter than we ever anticipated. Global temperatures have risen by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, a seemingly small number with massive consequences. It doesn't sound like much, but the impacts are profound and far-reaching. Heat waves are longer, stretching for weeks on end, more frequent, more intense, and more deadly than ever before. What was once considered extreme is now routine, a part of our daily lives. The term summer has taken on a new, more sinister meaning, filled with dread and uncertainty. Extreme weather events are no longer exceptional, they're expected. Hurricanes are more intense, forming more often and reaching farther inland. Droughts are more severe, lasting longer and affecting larger areas. Wildfires rage for months, consuming entire regions and leaving devastation in their wake. The Arctic is ice-free in summer, a dramatic change that was once unimaginable. This affects global weather patterns, accelerating warming and altering climates worldwide. The jet stream has weakened, becoming more erratic and unpredictable. This leads to persistent weather patterns, causing prolonged periods of extreme weather. These changes aren't just environmental. They're economic and social, affecting every aspect of our lives, from agriculture to infrastructure and even our daily routines. Rising seas and sinking cities, the oceans are rising slowly but surely. By 2074, sea levels have risen by over a meter. It doesn't sound like much, but the impacts are devastating. Coastal cities are struggling to survive. Some have already been abandoned, others are fighting a losing battle against the sea. Miami is mostly underwater. New Orleans is a modern Atlantis. Parts of New York City are submerged. The Netherlands, once a model of water management, is in crisis. Island nations in the Pacific are disappearing. Their populations have become climate refugees. Bangladesh has lost a significant portion of its land. Millions have been displaced. It's not just about losing land, it's about losing history, cultural heritage, livelihoods. It's a slow-motion disaster reshaping our world. Section 5. The Great Extinction, Biodiversity and Peril. We are living through the sixth mass extinction. By 2074, it's accelerated. Species are disappearing at an alarming rate, faster than we can document them. The web of life is unraveling, and we're feeling the consequences. The Amazon rainforest, once called the lungs of the earth, is gasping. Large parts have transformed into savanna. The coral reefs, those underwater rainforests, are mostly gone, bleached, dead. The Arctic food chain has collapsed. Polar bears are functionally extinct in the wild. They exist only in zoos and in our memories. It's not just about losing beautiful creatures, it's about losing ecosystem services. Pollinators are vanishing. It's affecting our food supply. The biodiversity crisis isn't just an environmental issue, it's a human one. Section 6. Climate migration, a world on the move. The world is on the move. Climate change has become the primary driver of migration. By 2074, hundreds of millions have been displaced. They're fleeing rising seas, expanding deserts, failing crops. They're climate refugees, and their numbers are growing. The patterns of migration are complex. In some cases, it's gradual. Rural areas slowly empty as farming becomes untenable. Cities swell. In other cases, it's sudden. A catastrophic storm, a devastating flood, entire communities uprooted overnight. The line between economic migrants and climate refugees has blurred. They're often one and the same. Borders are under pressure. Some countries have closed them entirely. Others are struggling to cope with the influx. Refugee camps have become semi-permanent cities. The social and political impacts are profound. Section 7. Resource wars, conflicts in a warming world. In 2074, resources are scarce. Climate change has disrupted supply chains. It's altered growing seasons. It's made some resources inaccessible. Others have been depleted. The result: conflict, competition, sometimes outright war. Water is the new oil. Rivers that cross borders have become flashpoints. The Nile, the Mekong, the Colorado. Countries upstream have an advantage. Those downstream are desperate. Some conflicts are diplomatic, others are military. Desalination technology has improved, but it's energy intensive. Not everyone can afford it. Food security is a global concern. Crop failures are common. They lead to price spikes, to hoarding, to export bans. Rich countries can still feed their people. Poor countries can't. The global food system is under immense strain. Section 8. Green Revolution, the promise of renewable energy. In the face of crisis, there's hope. By 2074, renewable energy has made significant strides. Solar and wind power dominate the energy landscape. They're cheaper than fossil fuels, more reliable, more widespread. The transition wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Technological advances have been key. Solar panels are more efficient, wind turbines are larger, more powerful. Energy storage has improved dramatically. Grid-scale batteries are common. They solve the intermittency problem. Hydrogen fuel cells have found their niche. In transportation, in industry, the geopolitical map has been redrawn. Oil-producing nations have lost influence. New powers have emerged. The renewable energy sector is a major employer. It's driving innovation and economic growth. Section 9. Feeding the future. Sustainable agriculture in a changing climate. Agriculture has transformed. It had to. Traditional farming methods couldn't cope with the new climate reality. By 2074, we've seen a revolution in food production. It's more sustainable, more resilient, but challenges remain. Vertical farming is now commonplace in cities, in deserts. These controlled environments produce food year-round. They use less water, less land. They're closer to consumers, reducing transportation costs. Emissions. Genetic engineering has given us crops that can withstand heat, drought, pests. It's controversial, but it's helping feed the world. Meat consumption has decreased dramatically. Lab-grown meat is common. It's more environmentally friendly, more ethical. These methods are helping agriculture adapt to a changing climate. Section 10, Individual Action, your role in shaping our climate future. The future isn't set in stone. Your actions matter. They've always mattered. Every small step you take contributes to a larger impact. By 2074, individual choices have cumulative effects. They've shaped our world, for better or worse. The power lies in your hands. The question is, what role will you play? Start with your consumption. Be mindful of what you buy and use. Every purchase is a vote for sustainability or against it. Your choices can either support a greener future or contribute to environmental degradation. Choose products with low carbon footprints. Look for eco-friendly labels and certifications. Support companies that prioritize the environment. Reduce your meat consumption. Opt for plant-based alternatives. Use public transport. Cycle. Walk. These small changes can lead to significant reductions in your carbon footprint. If you must drive, go electric. These choices add up. They make a difference over time. They send signals to the market. They drive change. Your voice matters too. Speak up for the environment. Vote for leaders who prioritize climate action. Engage in local politics. Your vote can shape policies and drive systemic change. Support climate initiatives in your community. Participate in local projects and events. Join or support environmental organizations. Share knowledge, raise awareness, educate others about the importance of sustainable living. The climate crisis is a collective problem. It needs collective action. Together we can create a sustainable future for generations to come. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to find out how climate catastrophe is knocking on our door and what the future holds. See you in the future. Bye.